The first aphorism states, "The high and only mission of a physician is to restore the sick to health, to cure as it is termed." The first aphorism states the most fundamental purpose of being a doctor. The statement in itself looks very simple. A physician is supposed to cure the sick, so what's the big deal? But there is more to this aphorism than what meets the eyes. Every word in this one line is pregnant with meaning, and the choice of words has its own significance. Let us first see what options Hahnemann had while phrasing this aphorism. He could have said, "The work of a physician is to restore the sick to health, to cure as it is termed," or "The mission of a physician is to restore the sick to health, to cure as it is termed." "The mission of a physician is to treat the disease," or "The highest mission of a physician is to cure the sick," or "The high and only mission of a homeopath is to restore the sick to health, to cure as it is termed." They all look very similar. What difference does it make if a word is changed or removed? But Hahnemann was a perfectionist. He knew what he wanted to write, what he wanted to convey, and he did not want any ambiguity in his words. Let us begin our exploration of this aphorism with the word mission or calling. Hahnemann had seen struggle, suffering, and death from close quarters, not just in his patients, but in his own life and in his family too. Those who have suffered themselves and have a compassionate heart can understand the commitment Hahnemann had towards his sick patients. And he wants the same level of commitment from every physician. Here he is not talking about the work of a physician. The work is to treat. But he is stating the aim or the purpose of the treatment. The treatment should be done with the aim of curing the patient. You might say, so what's the big deal? Every doctor tries to cure his patients. But is it really true? During Hahnemann's time, the medical system was at the mercy of the whims and fancies of its practitioners. With the treatments like bloodletting, purging, diaphoretics, diuretics, and other unproved medicines in vogue, the certainty of suffering and death was greater during and after treatment. Hahnemann knew that very few physicians of his time were actually aware of the real cure. And even after 200 years, the world has not changed much. We still treat the hypertension, the thyroid, the cardiac problems, the renal problems. And the treatment is often lifelong with its own set of side effects. The worst part is that a lot of the treatment is not even justified or is outrightly wrong. For example, majority of viral otitis media and sore throats, allopaths still continue to prescribe antibiotics. The medicines are still one of the biggest cause of death and suffering in this world today. That is why Hahnemann made it very clear that while your work is to treat, your aim should be to cure the patient. There is a difference in the level of commitment between your work and your mission. People can be sloppy or careless about their work. They may not fulfill their duties. But when the commitment comes from within, when it becomes your mission, you will really do what is in the best interest of your patient. And that is what Hahnemann wanted each one of us to do. Having said that, what was the need of adding the adjectives high and only to the word mission? If you ask people what is their mission in life, you might hear answers like, "I want to be a good doctor," or "I want to earn a lot of money," or "I want to lead a happy and stable family life," or "I want to be famous." People often confuse their wants, desires, needs, wishes, and work with their mission. If you are a doctor, it is your work to treat the patient. It is your duty to treat him in the best possible manner. To earn a lot of money or to be a good doctor are your wishes. Similarly, you have your duties towards your family, your parents, and society you live in. Even though physicians are supposed to serve, but they also have their financial, emotional, and social needs. There's nothing wrong in fulfilling your duties and your wishes. But you have to set your priorities right. Your wishes should not deviate you from the real purpose of being a physician. As H.A. Robert puts it, the decision lies with the individual and what he is determined to secure from his life work. If it is financial ambition, he had better not take up homeopathy. Homeopathy is a principle, and principles brook no division of loyalty. If he has at heart the desire to serve, he may find fame and riches at his door, as well as that keen satisfaction of knowing that he has brought to his clientele the gift of healing in the safest, gentlest, and most rapid manner. So while you may have many wishes and many duties, your highest priority should be the well-being of your patients. And while you can have many wishes and many duties, you cannot have many missions in your life. Practice of homeopathy needs a single-minded devotion. Hence the use of words high and only. Another thing worth noticing here is the use of the word physician. Hahnemann could have used the word homeopath instead of physician. But Hahnemann did not change this word even after homeopathy was fully established and even when he faced bitter opposition from his allopathic brethren. The reason is that it does not matter what form of medicine we practice, homeopathy, allopathy, Ayurveda, TCM, or anything else. The intent or the purpose of treatment cannot differ from pathy to pathy or from physician to physician. When Hahnemann wrote the Organon, his intention was not to start a new school of medicine. He never wanted homeopaths to be a separate class of physicians. In fact, he believed that he had found a universal truth and that sooner or later everyone in the medical community will accept the law of similia. Now we move on to the next part, and that is cure. I have already discussed above the difference between your work and your mission as a physician. Hahnemann has made it very clear that while our work is to treat the patient, our mission should be to cure the patient. And he has given a very brief and very precise definition of cure so that there is no room left for the wrong interpretation of the word cure. People often confuse removal of symptoms or removal of disease or removal of pathology with cure. People often do not even know the difference between palliation, suppression and cure. How common it is to see patients treated with antibiotics for cold coming in for treatment of otitis media. How common it is to see patients taking antibiotics for acute cold coming in for treatment of dry cough that often lasts for months. How common it is to see patients with allergic rhinitis who are taking anti-allergic drugs end up getting allergic bronchitis and asthma. If the conventional treatment was geared towards cure, why are there so many sequel of treatment? You get appendicitis, they remove the appendix. You get tonsillitis, they remove the tonsils. You get inflamed adenoids, they remove the adenoids. You get uterine fibroids, they remove the whole uterus. And then they call it a cure. Hahnemann was very clear about the meaning of cure. He has clearly said that once the treatment is complete, the person should be restored to the original state of health. If the patient develops more but different problems afterwards, it is suppression. If you remove the organ with pathology, you are not curing the patient. You are not removing the disease state. You are just creating another compensated state. When you cure a patient, the symptoms and the pathology should disappear, and at the same time, the person's general feeling of well-being should also improve. There should be no relapse of the chronic complaints, and the number and intensity of acute should also go down. Only when the patient returns to his or her optimum physical, mental and emotional health can we call it a true cure. The last point of focus of this aphorism is the word sick. Hahnemann knew what is it that we are supposed to cure. Is it the symptoms, the pathology or the disease? No. There is more to a sick human